This is Sister Susan.
And this is Sister Judith.
And this is Sister Salad.
I arrived just before the conference began and found myself waiting in the massive registration line, where there were people walking around filming and giving away free hugs and such. Unfortunately, the high concentration of YouTubers made it impossible to actually access YouTube, so I had to content myself with looking at the online video community IRL. I met a fanthropologist. We'd missed the opening ceremonies, so we got straight into the line for the Vlogbrothers Meetup, aka Nerdfighter Central. Then John pulled up a photo of Alice on his phone and ran around the room showing it off, and the Brothers Green discussed exciting announcements and were showered with scarves and headbands and other gifts, and then I had lunch with John Pham, aka Pham Pants, and we met up with Shelley of Short Sisters and attended my first panel, the Almost Famous panel, featuring assorted, quote, mid-level YouTubers, including the amazing Steve from the channel Fizzy Lyman, and they talked about what it's like to focus on engaging more deeply with a smaller audience versus trying to reach millions of viewers. Then I popped over to the Lucy Bennett Diaries meetup to meet up with our Twitter friend Hannah and her friends Claudia and Mr. Bearsey. And then we played some obligatory Where's Waldo and went outside into the glorious Los Angeles afternoon to participate in the unofficial but very well attended Women of YouTube meetup, led by Lacey, Rosianna, and Lex, in which we discussed some of the challenges of being a female YouTuber. After that, we got to meet this awesome person, who told us something very beautiful about what Sister Salad had meant to her, and then I ate some delicious sweet potato fries, and we popped by the expo hall and encountered a conga line. And then we stood in line for the concert and met secret brother Tom, who showed us his happy dance, and then we all did our happy dances together as various YouTubers played their hearts out for our delight.
You can't deny that you live your whole life without like a can. The dish if you only ever eat fish again. Feel alone if it's all you've ever known. I need Harry Potter like a friend below needs water, and as that day approaches my Negroes. Double rainbow all the way across the sky.
And then we ended that magical day in the only way possible, with a dance party. Day 2 began with another line, this one to get into the expo hall for John and Hank's signing session. We were too late to join the line, but hovered in a hopeful line to get in line, and made some friends who taught us the fantastic game called Story War. Here you were seeing this round's judge recount the epic battle between a cherub and a nymph. Then I went outside and took some creepy stalker footage of Elma Phi so I could mention her in this video, and then headed upstairs to get in line for the educational content panel, which I definitely did not want to miss, and made some lovely friends while waiting. It was definitely worth the wait, because not only did it have an excellent panel consisting of Veritasium, Emily from The Brain Scoop, John Green, and Destin from Smarter Every Day, but even more importantly, it was incredibly well facilitated by YouTube's Educational Content Partnership Manager, Angela Lynn. And then it was time for the main stage closing ceremonies, which included a human test from Zay Frank and a quite amazing iPad magician, and then we attended a Night Vale meetup that turned into an enormous game of Cards Against Humanity, followed by another amazing concert plus dance party. Then I paid a quick visit to LobbyCon, and suddenly, Vidcon was over. The experience of Vidcon was intense and amazing, and at times overwhelming and even stressful. I found out about dozens of new channels I wanted to check out, so many that to watch them all I'd have to stop having any other kind of life and just sit in front of my computer 24/7. There were way more panels and activities that I wanted to attend than I possibly could either, and so I found myself on the one hand glad to know that most of the ones I had missed because I was doing something else amazing had probably been filmed by somebody and would be floating around on YouTube for me to experience retroactively. But at the same time, as I attended the nightly concerts and stared out at the sea of screens in front of me, I realized that each second of this experience was being multiplied into hundreds of seconds of video footage that would probably take months to watch in their entirety. I also experienced the sense of uncontrollable proliferation and the growth of VidCon itself, and the resultant long lines and impossibility of getting even a second of FaceTime with some of the longtime mentors people come to VidCon in the express hope of finally getting to meet and interact with in real life. And what I realized was that this proliferation had the power to paralyze me, to frustrate me, to leave me with a negative experience of disappointment and dissatisfaction because I couldn't do all that I wanted or had hoped. And if I wanted to leave VidCon with a positive feeling, having gotten something valuable out of the experience, I needed to shift my perspective and focus on the individuals, the moments. To recognize that the real gift of VidCon, the reason to attend, is not the few second glimpses you'll get of some wonderful, super popular YouTuber, but rather the 30 minutes you'll spend making a new friend while you wait in line, the chance to interact with the random non-famous but no less wonderful people who are out there watching and commenting on your videos and the videos you also watch and comment on, people drawn to the same opportunities you're drawn to, and thus by definition people who share at least some of your interests and passions. It's like a giant magnet for awesome, and not just big-name, unapproachable awesome, but also totally approachable, fascinatingly awesome folks who are ripe for a nice deep connection and perhaps even a lifelong friendship if you open yourself up to that possibility. I started turning this reframed perspective on how to fully appreciate what makes VidCon truly special into a series of tips, which you can find on Twitter under the hashtag VidconTips. And if you have your own thoughts about what made or would make VidCon meaningful and life-changing for you, please share them in the comments. And finally, to all those wonderful people who introduced themselves and talked and danced and played games and waited in line and discussed deep thoughts with me, thanks for being, at least for me, what VidCon is really all about.